James Comey delivering the stunning news in this letter to Congress. The FBI has discovered new emails related to the Hillary Clinton private email server investigation and is now taking a second look at that investigation.
Hillary Clinton did her best to run out the clock on her email scandal so that people wouldn't find out the details of her pay-to-play system until after the election. At first, it seemed like it worked because the FBI chose not to indict her during their first probe. It seemed like she was out of the woods until 11 days before the election when the FBI announced a second investigation regarding her, this time centered on her top aide, Huma Abedin. The FBI says they found 650,000 emails on one of Anthony Weiner's computers as part of an unrelated case. When doing a keyword search on them, 10,000 emails related to both Hillary and Huma turned up on the device, and so they've officially gotten a warrant to search it for everything. The fallout of this is huge. For one, that means a second FBI scandal surrounding Hillary would be fresh on voters' minds. The second part is that despite being the Democratic presidential nominee, Congress has an order out to make it so that she's not allowed to be in any classified briefings.
Clinton has nobody but herself to blame. She was entrusted with some of our nation's most important secrets, and she betrayed that trust by carelessly mishandling highly classified information. I renew my call for the Director of National Intelligence to suspend all classified briefings for Secretary Clinton until this matter is fully resolved.
She's that much of a security risk in their eyes. This is a person that for some reason is still allowed to run for president despite not being allowed basic clearance authorities. Comey is now being accused of withholding relevant information right before the election, or releasing it when he shouldn't have, or something. It's unclear what the establishment is trying to throw at him here because all their claims are bogus. The DOJ tried to claim that he was about to violate a law that said the FBI and Department of Justice aren't allowed to interfere with elections by releasing information such as this close to election day.
Why would she say it's violating policy if you send this letter to
Could be the
Congress?
Hatch Act, but it's not. Upon further review, it doesn't violate the Hatch Act.
Well, it's something completely...
Or is it because she didn't want the information out?
Do you understand the implications of this, though? The Department of Justice personally stepped in and tried to impede James Comey from doing his job.
Those are two different things, and so a longstanding tradition, apparently, at the Department of Justice, you don't release this if it could affect the outcome of an election. But he specifically said, are you ordering me not to do this? You know, are you ordering me to keep this bombshell secret? She did not say he could not send it out, and the next day, he sent it out.
Loretta Lynch was sent to intimidate him into staying silent, and this man, bless his heart, stood up to her and did it anyway. Here's hoping he doesn't accidentally commit suicide by shooting himself in the back of the head 3 times. Stay safe, buddy.
Did you watch any of the mainstream media yesterday and how they were covering this?
I did.
They were all blaming it on James Comey.
Of course. Yeah. When it came to anti-Comey statements, there were 88 of them. And despite the fact that they were investigations into Hillary, there were 31. So
3 to 1, they were more critical of Comey than they were Hillary.
Sure. Anyway.
But you fools, just blame it on the Russians. Look, watch.
Clinton campaign seizing moments ago on a new report that FBI Director James Comey was reluctant to publicly blame Russia for cyber hacking Democrats this close to the election.
Let me ask you, there are several elements going on in this campaign, obviously, many of them upsetting to millions and millions of voters. But one of the things that goes unspoken of in large extent is Russian interference in the American political process. Would you care to rank in terms of priority Hillary Clinton's emails versus the clearly established Russian interference in our electoral process?
James Comey was reluctant to publicly blame Russia for cyber hacking Democrats.
Clearly established Russian interference in our electoral process.
Comey was reluctant to publicly blame Russia.
You can always get away with it if you just blame Russia for all of your problems, especially your self-inflicted wounds. Wait a second. I see what's going on here. FBI Director James Comey is actually Vladimir Putin. He's infiltrated the FBI. But actually, he's working for Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton is their illegitimate son spawn. Wow, it all makes sense now, doesn't it?
These emails were found on devices that belong to your aide, Huma Abedin, and her husband, Anthony Weiner. Have you spoken to Huma? Was she able to give you any information about that?
It is incumbent upon the FBI to tell us what they're talking about, Jeff, because right now your guess is as good as mine, and I don't think that's good enough. They need to share whatever facts they claim to have with the American people. And that's what I expect to happen.
Law enforcement sources indicates it may not be about her server. It may not be about her at all.
Congressman?
Yeah, that's an old trick, Brad. I mean, blame the cops. If you're being investigated, blame the cops. Jim Comey's not responsible for a single one of the facts at hand. He didn't tell her to use a private server. He didn't tell Huma not to turn over all of her devices. And God knows he didn't tell Anthony Weiner to send sexually explicit texts to allegedly underage people. So Comey's not responsible for any of this. The timing is a direct and natural consequence of decisions that Hillary Clinton made. So let's assume tomorrow morning Hillary Clinton went before a rally and said, the FBI has investigated me, I've been cleared, that's all in the rearview mirror. Well, Comey knows that that is not true. So if his obligation is to the public, why would he not let us know? Investigations are never over unless there's a verdict or statute of limitations expires. This notion that an election tolls the criminal justice system is laughable. I've never heard that before.
By the way, as it turns out, the Quinn staff actually had a code word for the email wipe.
Saying no overnight gap between her statement and dropping the bomb. Alternatively, put the bomb in her voice in her statement. Later on makes clear the bomb is the deletion of these emails. They were more nervous about it than they let on. A story about foreign contributions. He said, shutting down foreign fundraising at the foundation, quote, better than dealing with brush fires. He called it brush fires. And then within days of him talking about shutting down the foreign fundraising for the foundation, Bill Clinton's chief of staff sends this note to John Podesta at the campaign, quote, foreign government donors, all the money is in.
There's a new development involving Donna Brazile that came out of the WikiLeaks information. Tell us about that.
Remember what she told her own Megyn Kelly, some days back after the third presidential debate, that all of this was false, this idea that she had used her connections as a CNN contributor to feed a question to Hillary Clinton's campaign ahead of a CNN town hall debate. CNN denied there was anything improper. New emails today saying, wait a second, not just a town hall meeting, but a CNN debate in Flint, Michigan. Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and Donna Brazile sends a note to John Podesta saying, quote, one of the questions directed to HRC tomorrow is from a woman with a rash. Her family has lead poison, and she will ask what, if anything, will Hillary do as president to help the people of Flint. The opposite of what we heard from Donna Brazile to Megyn Kelly. So today, a statement from CNN. On October 14th, CNN accepted Donna Brazile's resignation as a CNN contributor. CNN never gave Brazile access to any questions, prep material, attendee lists, background information, or meetings in advance of a town hall or debate. We are completely uncomfortable, though, with what we have learned about her interactions with the Clinton campaign while she was a CNN contributor.
Okay, was this even worth leaking, though? What else was going to get asked? On principle, Donna Brazile should get her career ruined for leaking multiple debate questions to Hillary. But if you're going to cheat, why bother with an obvious question? What else would possibly get asked at that forum except that exact question? In any case, she's had to resign since this all came out, and CNN chief Jeff Zucker is, at least on the surface, pissed by it all. Actually, she resigned before it all came out. This is now one of multiple scandals with Donna Brazile.
And CNN is saying on October 14th, they accepted her resignation. Nobody ever announced that. Right. But now that these new emails are out today, CNN's getting it out there.
What we're seeing here is that everyone close to Hillary Clinton is becoming radioactive. All of her close confidants are being exposed as liars and cheats. Now back to the investigation. Look at this bullshit right here. Loretta Lynch met with James Comey before everything is announced, and Hillary tries to save herself by saying that she wants the FBI to release all the information. This, of course, makes it seem as if Hillary is so confident she's innocent that she doesn't fear anything that could possibly be in those emails. What it actually means is that she knows that the FBI can't release anything until the investigation is over, as in this is a bluff on Hillary's part that she knows won't get called because the FBI doesn't have the authority to oblige. However, Hillary has direct access to Huma, and up until a few days ago, Huma used to be at Hillary's side all the time. Now she's disappeared to, Lao Guy, perhaps? In any case, regardless of when Judy gets back from her vacation, she has this to contend with.
Do you accept the fundamental premise that the reason we're here is because Hillary Clinton and her inner circle, not including, made a horrible decision to set up her private email server, and everything that has happened since then is her fault?
Well, look, I think she's apologized for setting up a private email server, said it was a mistake. She said she wouldn't do it over again, I think.
So as part of this Judicial Watch lawsuit, Huma Abedin had to testify under oath, and she said, quote, I looked for all the devices that may have had any of my State Department work on it and returned, gave them to my attorneys for them to review for all relevant documents and gave them devices and paper. Obviously, this other computer was not included in that group. Have you asked Abedin why she did not turn over this computer that is now being reviewed by the FBI?
Look, I think Huma's been completely cooperative with the authorities, and they've recognized that. She's worked with her attorneys to turn over relevant material.
If she didn't turn over every device that had State Department emails on them, and this one computer did.
I think it's clear. I don't know anything more than the speculation that's running wild. We're assuming a lot of facts that
Our reporting is that it was a laptop computer that belonged to Anthony Weiner, and they found State Department emails on that laptop. That's reporting. That's not speculation.
If Hillary wanted the information to be public, then she should have Huma do a press conference. My guess is we'll find 9,000 yoga emails, 630,000 wieners, 10,000 emails about planning weddings or whatever the fuck, 500 emails about how great the Muslim Brotherhood is, 499 emails marked C for cookie, and 1 email about Anthony's estranged hot potato.
Today, John Podesta, he has another connection to another story. A person that is his best friend considered at the Department of Justice will now be in charge of the DOJ's probe into Huma Abedin's emails.
What the fuck is this? The Department of Justice was so quick to try to make it so that the case doesn't even get going, and now they're pouring all their resources into it. This is quite clearly an attempt at a cover-up, and the FBI should tell them to piss off. Unfortunately, that's not actually an option, so now we have the DOJ interference with a case that they wanted no part in, and so it had the potential to make their own look bad. Good God, this really does go to the top, doesn't it? I can't wait to see Barry get indicted in all this as well. The Quinn campaign, otherwise known as the mainstream media, blew its load too early. They tried to get all the Trump dirt out before the debates, thinking that would tie everything up nicely for them, and now they have nothing left. What they should have done, had they been smart, is they should have saved the Donald Trump hot pussy mic in case they needed it, instead of dropping that bomb a few days before the second presidential debate. Unless they're holding on to something really juicy, which I doubt, or they would have released the Kraken by now, then it looks like the Quinn campaign has nothing left. They just have to ride out the storm and hope for the best. They can't blame Russia for this. They're trying to blame Comey, but they were singing his praises just a few months ago, so that's not working because they instantly got called out for their hypocrisy.
Watching this all weekend, I will say, first of all, everyone talks about what Comey did as being outrageous. This was a great, credible man with great integrity a week ago. So I don't really get that. What if there is something? We're not going to say it was so outrageous. The bottom line is, this all goes back to the server, something she shouldn't have done, something that was way more than a mistake, way more. And this is a self-inflicted, massive wound. And I just kept thinking how I've been on my horse going after Republicans and the Republican Party. You nominated this guy. You nominated Donald Trump. How could you do that? When I'm thinking Democrats nominated someone who is under an FBI investigation.
They're trying to distract by talking about Trump's tax returns, but look what just came out. This came out as I was making this video. The FBI has released 129 pages of highly censored material about Bill Clinton's presidential partner Mark Rich from 2001. This has just been released by the Associated Press and many other outlets. Now, the Clinton campaign is currently crying foul about this, saying that it shouldn't get released because of the timing. But all of this is getting released basically on a first-in, first-out basis, as in it's automatic. It's not really tied to the campaign. This was going to happen anyway. In case you don't know, Mark Rich was wanted on federal tax evasion and was released on Bill Clinton's last day in office. All of this spells doom and gloom for the Clinton campaign. If they wanted to talk about not paying taxes in terms of Donald Trump, now people are going to get countered, or they're going to get countered with how Bill Clinton released a tax evader on his last day in the Oval Office. Why did he feel the need to do that? Is the Clinton Foundation doing the same thing? Is Hillary Clinton doing the same thing? I mean, the sky is falling on them. How can they possibly recover from all this? One final note. Project Veritas claims they have some sort of racism clip regarding Hillary Clinton that they'll be releasing soon. WikiLeaks just keeps releasing more dirt on her and her media collusion. WikiLeaks got her involved with the infamous pedophile Anthony Weiner. Look at how Joe Biden responds to that.
But I don't know where these emails came from. What apparently Anthony Weiner. Well, oh God. Oh.
Joe Biden's response really says everything, doesn't it? That is the Clinton campaign right now. Exactly that.
Oh God. Oh.
It doesn't matter what the average person knows, though. This is enough to sink your campaign, just on pure speculation. Hillary tried to hide this for long enough to not have it affect the election, and instead she mistimed it to the point of having it create maximum effect on the election. She could not have messed up worse. I mean specifically she here. This is her doing. She made her own mistakes, and she is the victim of no one but herself. Anyway, my God, man, this election cycle is the turd that keeps on turding. Everybody's getting covered with feces, including you and me. Please just end it. New videos every day until election day. Subscribe or something.